I took a sip and something was not right. It was not bad, but it was not good either. And I knew if I tried to fix this the wrong way, I could ruin the whole batch. And this is exactly where most meads go wrong. It's not during fermentation, not with the honey. It's right here at the end after fermentation is done when you're trying to dial in the final balance. Because what you're tasting in the moment is not just too sweet or too acidic, it's structure. Sweetness has weight. You feel it sitting on your tongue and lingering longer than it should. Acidity does the opposite. It cuts through that weight and pulls the flavor forward so the finish feels clean. When those two line up, everything tightens. When they do not, you get that heavy, dull feeling or that sharp edge that just does not belong. And here's the problem. Most people try to fix it directly in the full batch. They add a little acid, taste it, add a little more, taste it again, and they keep going until something feels better. But by that time, they realize they went too far. It's already in all 5 gallons. And there's no clean way to undo that. Because every time you touch that full batch, you're risking everything you just spent weeks making. That's the mistake. So I stopped doing that completely years ago. And I switched to something that gives you control. 2 glasses. One you do not touch, and one you adjust. That untouched glass is your anchor. It's your control. Because your palate adapts faster than you think. If you do not have something to compare it against, you lose the baseline almost immediately. You think it's getting better, but you really are just getting used to the change. So now you have got your control glass and your test glass. And this is where things start getting interesting. You make very small measured changes to the test glass. Tiny amounts, a small pinch of tartaric acid, or a little acid blend. If you want to be precise, dissolve your acid, measure it so you can scale it exactly to the batch later. Stir it, taste it, and then go right back to the control glass. Back and forth, back and forth. And here's the part most people don't expect. The first time you do this, you're not even sure anything changed. And that's where most people quit. But if you stay with it, suddenly something shifts. The sweetness is still there, but it does not feel heavy anymore. It feels lighter, cleaner, like everything just snapped into focus. That's the balance point. And if you push just a little past that, you'll feel it break. Now it turns sharp. The finish thins out. It loses a smooth feel. That's your ceiling. So now that you've found the range where your mead actually works, not a guess, a range. And once you find that in the sample, you scale that exact change to your full batch. Now you're not experimenting on gallons. You are repeating something that you already prove works. If you're new here, please take a moment to like and subscribe, as it helps me keep sharing these lessons with our community. Now, here's where a lot of people get tripped up. pH. You will hear people throw numbers around like that is the answer. And yes, it matters, but it tells you where your mead sits chemically. But it does not tell the whole story of how it tastes. You can have 2 meads with a similar pH and they feel completely different when you drink them. Because what you taste is not just pH. It's the total acid, the sugar, the alcohol, and everything interacting together. So use pH as a reference, but don't chase a number thinking it guarantees balance. Your palate is still the final check. Now, this gets even more interesting when you look at the acids themselves. Not all acids behave the same. Tartaric gives structure. It tightens everything and makes the finish feel clean. Malic is sharper. That green apple bite, you feel it right away. And Citric is brighter and softer. But if you push it too far, it can start to feel artificial. And that's why a lot of people use acid blends. But even then, you still test. Because the wrong acid, even at the right level, can throw everything off. And this becomes even more important with higher gravity meads. More residual sugar means more weight. More chance it feels thick and almost syrupy. You do not want to remove that sweetness. That is where the flavor lives. You just want to support it. Enough acid to lift it without stripping it away. That's the difference between something that feels rich and something that feels heavy. Now here's the part that really changes everything. It's not the acid. It's the comparison. Because without that control glass, your brain lies to you. You make a change, you taste it, you think it's better, but you've already forgotten what the original tastes like. That side-by-side fixes that instantly. Now the difference is obvious. Not subtle, obvious. And once you feel that a few times, you stop guessing. You start recognizing it. And that's when everything shifts. Your mead stops tasting like something you made and starts tasting like something you meant to make. Like every adjustment had a purpose behind it. And that's the difference. Now, one more thing, because this is where people usually go next. Sometimes acid's not the fix. Sometimes it's tannin. Sometimes it's adjusting sweetness itself. Because balance is not just two things. It's everything working together. But if you do not get this part right first, none of the rest lands the way it should. So start here. 2 glasses. Small measured changes. Find the moment where everything snaps into place. And once you feel it, that is when you stop hoping your mead turns out right and start knowing it will. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. For more mead making videos, check my playlist over here. Happy mead making.